Hi everyone, welcome back to the beginning of the week and to my channel Light Fragments Oracle. Today is going to be kind of an interesting day. We are going to talk about adaptation and what that means for us as older women, or more mature women, as I like to say, in this whole makeup style, globally at large place that we find ourselves. And adaptation is really important for us if we want to continue to feel good about ourselves and get the most out of our lives at the age that we are. This coming July, I'm going to be 65, which means I'm going to be on Medicare. And I know that there are a lot of you out there that are going, big deal, you're going to be on Medicare. For me, that is a milestone, particularly since we both ran our own businesses together for 14 years. And 10 of those 14 years, we did not have health insurance. We took care of ourselves the best that we could. And whenever something came up, we paid for it out of pocket. Even if that meant putting it on a credit card and then paying it back with interest. We did what we had to do. We adapted to the situation at hand. No, it was not pleasant, but we did what we had to do. And here I am, I'm going to be 65 in July, and I'm going to be going on Medicare, which means that I will have some form of health insurance non-dependent of my husband's job, which is why he let go of his business, so that we didn't have to pay thousands of dollars a month for health insurance, that he would get a job in the field that he works at that would supply us really good health insurance, and he found that. Well, this is going to take some of the burden off of him. Yes, I'll probably have to get a supplemental insurance, but for me, that is a milestone. And it's something to be grateful for. Yeah, 65 to the younger generation sounds old. But to me, it sounds like a beginning. A beginning to adapt to my new way of living, basically. And along the way, we all have had to adapt to something in our lives that we ordinarily would not have wanted to. It's like that with everything. You get a new job, you have to adapt to a new schedule. You find out that you have an issue within your body and you have to adapt to either the medicine or a new way of eating, or maybe add an exercise program. Go to bed earlier at night. All of these things upsets the homeostasis of our living. And I want to talk to you about the scientifics of adaptation. Because once you know why, over thousands of years, organisms have had to adapt in order to survive, you will understand that it's not as bad as you think. it keeps us alive. It keeps us surviving. And within that, it renews us if we let it. So I'm going to be putting on some makeup today while I talk. I'm not going to do anything fancy today. I'm just going to put on my makeup to get ready for the day and talk about adaptation. And I wanted you all to come along with me because there is something in this topic for all of you. Let me begin by telling you about a new product that I accidentally adapted to. I was at Walmart last week, and you know, stores are doing this. Stores are creating a disruption. Grocery stores, department stores, all stores, so that you will not get used to the routine of going into the store. My local grocery store just did this. It throws us, those of us that like a schedule, that like a routine, that are used to doing things a certain way, off. And I noticed this with Walmart. They used to keep the bins that had the little samples in a different part of the store. But last week, I wasn't interested in that. So I went in looking for the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator and some other things that I needed for my pets. And I stumbled across the little bins. And I'm like, wow, well, I didn't realize they were here. And I got to looking in those little bins, and they had some different things. They had bottles of shampoo, which is pretty classic. And I picked up 2 sample size of the Pantene Moisture shampoo, which I used to use. I used it when I was much younger, and I thought, well, it's winter. I'm going to pick these up, and I'm going to use them. I got the shampoo and the conditioner, and I remember how much I enjoyed them when I used them for the first time the other day. But I noticed Pond's Rejuveness. This is a anti-wrinkle cream. Please, products out there, marketers, stop saying anti-wrinkle, anti-aging. Say pro-aging, pro-aging. You don't have to beat us down with the wrinkle stuff. We get it. We have them. Pro-aging. That's all you need to say. Pro-aging cream, firmer looking skin in 2 weeks. You know, I used to use Pond's. I still have my jar of Pond's when I occasionally want to use it to take off my makeup. I was told many years ago that you can take that Pond's cream and you can massage it into your hair. And so what I did, the day before I was going to shampoo my hair, is I massaged it into the ends of my hair. And then I wrapped my hair up like I normally do to go to work. And it stayed that way for 24 hours. And it made my hair so soft. That's just a tip. And so when I stumbled across this, I went, whoa, I didn't even know that Pond's had a pro-aging wrinkle cream. I didn't know that. So for $1.97, I picked this up and I started using it the other day. And let me tell you, the smell is gentler than the regular Pond's cream. But boy, oh boy, when I got up in the morning, did my skin feel great. Don't go out and spend loads of money when you can find samples at Walmart or Target or wherever you shop, and pick these up first. Try them. Because if you get a reaction, you're out a lot of money if you get the bigger jar. But go to your Walmart and see if they have this. So I'm going to put some of this on, and we're going to start talking about adaptation. This is very, very lightweight. Very lightweight. And when it dries down, it is not oily. It actually sinks right into the skin, which at first I was like, oh, I'm used to all these creams that kind of sit on my skin, or serums that I really love that I've been using. You know about the Botanical serum, youth serum. And I said, this is kind of a nice change. I think that I can adapt to this. I think that I can adapt to this change, and it's much more inexpensive. And if you have oily skin, go get yourself a sample, because you might be able to use this. Now, there is a fragrance. The fragrance does linger in a lesser degree. You can smell it, but because I love the smell, it really made me feel joy throughout the day. I didn't wear any makeup over the weekend, so I was able to enjoy this fragrance. I've only been using it for a couple of days, but I will give you an update on the 2-week interval and see if my skin does feel firmer. And I have issues here because I'm getting jowls. So I need to adapt to that, right? I'm going to add a little bit more of this down here. Drag it down my neck. And now my skin is prepped for makeup. I am not going to use a primer today. Let's talk a little bit about adaptation before I put on my foundation. What is adaptation? Adaptation is a change or process of change by which an organism or species becomes better suited to its environment. It fits organisms to their environment by enhancing their evolutionary fitness. Basically, it's for survival. Adaptation is for survival, and I mentioned that at the beginning. And here we are, women over 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Hello? You're still surviving. You can adapt. You can adapt to what you are going through. Yeah, there's going to be some challenges. Every organism has challenges. Go all the way back to thousands of years. And organisms have had their challenges. I mean, what happened to the first man when he found himself cold? We've got fire. Hungry. We've got learning how to hunt. Feeling togetherness. We've got mating. And some of these are inherently natural. They're natural to a specific species that has had to evolve over time. It is a process. Basically, each change or evolution needs to be small because it's easier to adapt to a small change than it is a big one. The adaptation process is which an organism or species becomes better able to live in its habitat. And you can take this and adapt the adaptability to every area of your life. So let me start putting on my foundation, and we'll chat a little bit about what it means to be a human being, woman or man, adapting to where you are in your life and the challenges that come down the road. We are all creatures of habit. There are people that say they like change. They need change. What they really mean is they like options. They like the option to be able to make choices that bring them happiness and joy, or even puts them in a better position, either financially or with a job or with a partner. Change is a really broad word because some changes can be drastic. But on a day-to-day basis, we all learn adaptability if we want to create an environment that is sustainable and healthy for us as people. Some of those adaptabilities, just to name a few, could mean if you're living with someone, you may have to adapt to their schedule and your schedule in order to keep the homeostasis of your environment. You may have to adapt to the other person's likes and dislikes. You may like something, they may dislike something. And so the goal is to find a balance, some kind of balance. Say somebody doesn't like pizza, and the other person likes pizza. Instead of making a pizza, you can order a pizza, and you can order something on the side that would suit you better than a pizza. All right, that might be a really small adaptation, but it's important because adaptations usually happen in small increments. And I think about this, when the universe was formed, people say the Big Bang Theory, boom, it happened, and then that was it. We had the universe. Perhaps there were smaller changes that happened before the Big Bang. Things that scientists have been trying to figure out for decades. But it's good to think about, because what that means is if we make these small adaptive changes to our lifestyles, to our work environment, to our relationships, and we don't get stuck in, it's got to be this way, life will be so much easier and sustainable for all of us. And that includes our planet. Our planet got to where it is by small, inhabitable changes. We can't allow that to self-destruct. We have to, as human beings, look at it at the very least and contribute to the planet's sustainability, however small. Maybe, recycling should include all kinds of plastics, not just a couple of kinds. So this brings me on to the next discussion on adaptation. There is adaptedness, which is the state of being adapted, being able to live and produce and survive in a habitat. An adaptive trait is a developmental pattern which enables or enhances an organism or a species to survive in the chosen habitat and produce. See, it's not just about surviving, it's also about producing that species. And when we produce that species, we're allowing other species to do the same. It's how we, as a species, will survive. And that brings me to becoming mature men, becoming mature women. We've had lots of wisdom. We've learned how to adapt through seasons of change. And we're still learning. And we have a lot to give other species. We have a lot to give our own species. And just because, as individual organisms, we are changing and we are becoming older, we leave a legacy for those that are coming behind us. And someday they're going to have to look at this video and they're going to say, yeah, that's exactly where we are now. And my challenge for you is to start small and begin adapting. So you're older and you want to try some new things. Start small, okay? Replace something that is keeping you in that old version of you and replace it with something different but better. As far as the makeup community, I have a challenge for you. I look totally different with makeup on. I look totally different when I dress up. And so does every other mature woman out there. And we want to be recognized. You need to adapt just like we need to adapt. And I know I'm being strong here, but I am asking you to consider us as ambassadors for your brands, as ambassadors for all of the women our age. Some of us are going to be in a place where we're not going to be working the jobs we were working, but we still want to be needed. And in a different way. Our families are grown. We want to be needed by a community that is willing to take a chance on us. And finally, adaptation, an adaptive trait, adaptability, is a way of communicating. It's a way of communicating to the world that we're still here. We are still an organism. We are still surviving. We are still a species. And we need to be seen. Snuffing us out is not a way to recreate and rebrand and sustain us for future generations. So today, choose something that you need to adapt at. Are you starting a new job? Are you in a newer relationship? Are you having communication problems with your partner? Adapt something. Adopt a new way and adapt to it. Let's get on with the makeup and we will call it a day. I just used one application of the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. It looks very natural and I really, really like that. I am going to use the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. I'm just going to put 3 dots right here and 3 dots right here. And then I'm only going to go over where my jowls are. And I want to work fast before this dries. So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about adapting. Adapting also gets us out of being selfish. I mean, if you think about an organism, in order for it to survive, it has to mutate. And when it mutates, it becomes stronger. Have a negative effect on a species, particularly if it's, bacteria or a virus. But what it does is it helps us become stronger against that negative organism for our own survival. So if you find yourself in a difficult situation, you have a choice. You can learn to adapt in one way or another, or you can decide you want to phase out. And for me, that is not an option. Because all you have to do is look around you and you can see that the universe is still hanging on. It's hanging on for us. It's hanging on for us. And we cannot let it down. And you cannot let yourself down either. You can't. Even though there might be times that you want to. And believe me, you guys don't see me 24/7. I have those days. I have those days when I'm feeling down. And that's when I go into my mode where I'm not mutating. And I'm just remaining kind of like in remission. And I think about what it is I want to accomplish with the way that I'm feeling. And that's a good thing. This blush is the Healthy Hue blush. And this is Pink Flush. This is a really affordable blush that gives the skin a vibrant hue. And since we are talking about keeping our species alive as mature people, human beings, a species, we're going to look a little vibrant today. I want you guys to see this. The tone of this blush is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you can tell that it has a little bit of a hue to it, but it is beautiful. And it's really not a blush that's talked about. You can get this at the drugstore. I got mine on Amazon, but when I looked last week, they do have it at my local Walmart, and they do have it at the drugstore because I went to both places. Isn't that pretty, you guys? Maybe you can see the sheen here better. And then I used my Il Makiage brightening concealer. I love this stuff. It looks perfect on me because when you pat it out, it's almost sheer and it stays on. It doesn't wrinkle with my adapted wrinkles. I'm going to use an eyebrow pencil today. I just want to go really simple. I don't want to, spend a lot of time on my eyebrows. This eyebrow pencil, the Brow Stylist Designer from L'Oreal. It's a good one. I shared this palette right before the holidays, and I really wanted to give it a more formal shout out. It is the Diana Saldana eyeshadow palette from Sigma. I'm going to go with this shade right here over my lid with the shimmer pink. And this is called Goals. This is called Dreams. And for my crease, I'm going to use Good Vibes. Let's put on Goals over my eyelid. And one thing I wanted to tell you about the Il Makiage concealer brightening concealer. I call it a brightening concealer because I got it light for that purpose. I use it over my eyes too sometimes as a primer, and it doesn't budge. It's great. And you can layer it, so if you still can see your veins through the concealer when you put it on, just wait for it to dry and put another layer on. Okay, so this is like a coffee color brown. It's called Goals. It's perfect because our goal for this week is to begin to adapt to the age that we are at, switch things up a little bit, and begin to communicate who we are in a positive way, and adapt to our environment around us. Small changes. Okay, now I'm going to use the pink, and I'm going to put that just up above on my eyebrow, and it's, as you can see, under my eyebrow, it is a very pigmented color. And it's okay if you do it this way and it comes down a little bit into your crease, that's okay, right? That's okay. I do not want you to be afraid. I want you to learn to adapt. And then I'm going to go in with the light plum color And I'm going to put that on my outside and bring it in. 3 totally different colors, or shades rather, that I think pair nicely together. Let's not be afraid to try different things. And if you have any favorite colors that you would like me to try, either clothing or makeup or nail color, let me know. I have some exciting things coming, and I will share that with you when I get them. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to do for my eye. I'm going to put my lipstick on. And you know what? I'm feeling red. I am feeling red today, or I'm feeling a berry. It's a really pretty color. And I think that if you want to jump into reds this season, try a fuchsia. This one is the Maybelline 379 Fuchsia for me, and it is really pretty. Okay, my friends, this is the finished look. It can be done in literally 10 to 15 minutes every day. It doesn't have to be a long process. And consider the word adaptation and what that means for you. If you have something in your life that you want to see succeed and thrive, then as a species and an organism, you'll have to figure out a way for yourself. And particularly for those of us that are older and we're starting to encounter challenges, we're going to have to do the same thing. And so I feel that every day is a chance to learn how to adapt in a positive way, in a joyful way, in a way that makes us a better species. Human beings have come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. And I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. How about you? Be well, be blessed, be beautiful because you are, because there is nobody else on the planet like you. You are an individual organism within the species, adapting to your environment, to your situation, to your challenges and changes. We can lean on one another. You don't have to go at it alone. So, that's the word for the week, adaptation. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. And you're very special to me, all of you, and all of the content creators that I'm meeting. This has been an adaptive challenge for me. But boy, I'm so glad that I made that tiny little change of many little changes to start the process of adaptation. Until we see each other again, mwah, I love you. Changes, da da da, changes, la 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 la. Time may change me, but I can change time.